Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a Percy Jackson book tag. Some of the questions in the book tag I came up with myself, but some of the other ones I was inspired from seeing some book tag lists on Google, so I will link those down below if you want to check them out. But without further ado, let's get on with this book tag. Question number 1. When and how did you come across the Percy Jackson books? I first came across the Percy Jackson books around 2012, and I was a little bit older than the target audience, but I still loved them, obviously. And it was actually thanks to Birch Bug when I found her fan art of the Percy Jackson series on DeviantArt. So I really owe her all of my love for the Percy Jackson series. Question number 2 is favorite book. Now I'm going to divide this by series, so favorite book from the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, and favorite book from the Heroes of Olympus. So, I'd have to say that The Last Olympian is my favorite book in the first series. This is a very, very hard call between this one and the Battle of the Labyrinth for me. And then for the second series, I think it's gonna have to be Mark of Athena because I absolutely love it. Now this one is also a close call between this one and House of Hades, but I decided since this one is a much happier book and they're all together that it's ultimately my favorite book in the second series. Question number 3. Which is your least favorite book? Now, of course, this doesn't mean that I don't like it. It just means that it's not my favorite. So, unfortunately, from this first series, it has to be Sea of Monsters. I don't know why this book has never really clicked with me as much as the others, but it just isn't my favorite. I'd still give it a very good 8 to 9 out of 10. And then, from Heroes of Olympus, this comes as no surprise to anyone who's read the books, but it has to be Blood of Olympus for me. This book is not bad, but it's the biggest letdown in all of Rick Riordan's writing, just because it didn't live up to expectations and to all the hype around the book. Also, Percy didn't have any chapters, so there we go. Question number 4. Who is your godly parent? Now, of course, I want to say Poseidon, because who doesn't? But being completely honest and given my characteristics and personality, if I had to pick who it is, then I'd say it's Athena. Question number 5, who is your favorite character? Now, I'm a total basic bitch when it comes to favorite characters in the Percy Jackson series, so I'd have to say Percy, and if I couldn't pick Percy, then I'd pick Annabeth, so I'm still pretty basic. Now, of course, question number 6 is least favorite character. And for this, I'd have to go with, for the second series, probably Octavian, because who doesn't hate Octavian with all of their hearts? But for the first series, I think, if you'd asked me this the first time I read it, I probably would have said Rachel Elizabeth Dare, because I really hated her, and I would have said Jason, because I do not like Jason, like, at all. So I'll just leave it at Octavian. I really hate that guy. Question number 7. What is your favorite book moment? Now, I don't think I can narrow it down to just one moment, but it's probably all of the Percy moments, so I'm very biased. Wait, let me try to think of something more specific. Okay, so I thought about it, and this may count as a Percy moment as well, but I really love the moment in the 5th book, The Last Olympian, when Percy rejects immortality and he asks the gods to be actual good or at least decent parents. I think that scene just sums up the series so well, and it's so emotional and it just gives me all the feels. Question number 8. Did you have any book theories while reading the books? And yes, I did. And let me tell you, they weren't good and they did not come true. Most of them were focused around the Heroes of Olympus ones, since when I read the first series, all the books were out, so didn't really have any time for theories because I just read them back to back to back. But for Heroes of Olympus, I actually had the theory, like many other people, that when Percy and Annabeth got out of Tartarus, I can't say that word, when they got out of there, one of them would have to stay and close the door from the other side. Now, I think the whole fandom was fearing that this would happen, but spoilers, it didn't, thank God. But yeah, I read that book like fearing that moment, and when it didn't happen, I was so relieved. Question number 9 is, how long did it take you to read the whole series? I think the first series, it took me from 2 to 3 days to read each of the books, and I actually read them while I was taking my midterms, so every time I finished an exam early, I would just stay and read my book while everyone else finished, so that was a great time. And then the second series, I actually read the first 3 pretty fast since that was all that was out, and then I had to wait from summer to October till House of Hades came out, and then I had to wait for like a year or 2, I don't remember, until Blood of Olympus came out. Number 10 is, what are your thoughts on the movie adaptations? And when I saw this question on the book tag, I thought it was so weird because the Percy Jackson books don't have any movie adaptations, so I don't get this question. I mean, we do have a musical adaptation and we're getting a Disney Plus series, but I've never heard about Percy Jackson movies. Question number 10 is, what is your favorite ship? And I think if this video didn't make it obvious enough, I bet all of my other videos do. Percybeth is and forever will be probably my OTB, not only in the Percy Jackson fandom, but in general. No other ship has gripped me like Percybeth has. Now, some honorable mentions in the series could also be Solangelo. I really love them. And I also love, funnily enough, Sally Jackson and Paul Blowfish, so good for them. Now, some honorable mentions, I've never liked Jason and Piper together, but not because of lack of chemistry, precisely, but mostly because I didn't like their characters. And Frank and Hazel have never been my favorite either. And Leo and Calypso, obviously not my favorite. But anyway, I'm trying to move on from my Leo betrayal phase. It's been like more than 5 years, maybe, since Leo betrayed me, and I'm still salty about it. Question number 11. Are you Greek or are you Roman? And obviously, I'm Greek. A lot of people say they're Roman, and I don't get it. I just don't vibe that way, you know? Okay, question number 14, and this is a controversial one. Was Silena a hero or a spy? Now, from my point of view, I think she was both, because she was the spy. But in the end, she was a hero. They wouldn't have won the war, I think, without her, and thanks to her sacrifice, she became a hero in the end. So, we do have to acknowledge that she was a spy, but in the end, she died a hero, and I think that's what matters most. And then, lastly, we have most emotional moment for you in the series. Now, of course, I'm going to divide this between the first series and the second series. Most emotional moment in the first series would definitely have to be, for me at least, there's a lot of deaths in the series, by the way, spoilers, but for me, I always get really emotional when I read the death scene for Zoe Nightshade. It's so sad for me to read. Of course, I also get sad when Bianca dies, and then especially when Charles Beckendorf and Silena die. Those are all pretty horrible for me, but for me the most emotional moment is Zoe Nightshade's death. And then in the second series, I think obviously when Percybeth falls into Tartarus, that one hit me pretty hard, especially since I had to wait for a couple of months to be able to read the next book. Also, the Bob scene, and then when Percy says, Bob says hello to the stars, that line always gets me. So that's the end of the book tag. I hope you guys like this video, and if anyone wants to participate and make a video talking about the book tag, you're welcome to do so. I would love to hear your answers. If you want, you can leave them in the comments down below. Leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, see you next time. Bye!